Ebusua mema akwaba edo beye PhD TV. Ebusua nne no first number channel we so mesresa hade eye amanyosema etwugo hot political update, entertainment news, sports update ene nsema fire papa onabo Kennedy akompere ko Ohene Agyapong ene yede bedomo eye PhD TV ase. Nti nne no first number channel we so bomodien na subscribe channel no efama me video ya wo hwe bomodien share video e fama onua na like comment na me hu so adwenkyere fa sa video yi ehu. Ebusua edi ameje so ba akopɛ eno ane ankle ato nti bi obehum bi obeka ankle ato bi mebo modern na maje so kamafo. Ebusua mo nwura yensem ne mu ana no ada ukopiem ye parliament dia ande ho ye de na nkofo bi so ayerehosem si ho na ayerehosem ne enesen abra ye dom kuma no nipa oda wona no eye Honorable Alexander Afenyo Markin ene ogina eye simpi so okasa no ena nachi yete eye noise bi se obi kase sit down daughter of a murderer, sit down daughter of a murderer. Na sa time no Honorable Afenyo Markin kasa no na eye Zanetor Rawlings eye ade na okasa fem nti okasa di fem no ena eye MPs ni bi omo eye dom kuma no afa kan sa nsem no na besi sabre yentumi identify nipa kro kan sa asem no efise na cameras ni nyina ade na esi yo Honorable Afenyo Markin eso na sansem ebeto odwa no ena eye tese Blakk Rasta enso de na no ababetum kire ne pefie se sansem na eye Honorable MP anase MP bi a owo eye dom kuma na fa no ekaye no eye ne kure eye fat eye asema eye da ho na Ghana fo mu nya nya atwemsem no na papa no abro be ye president no anase abro oye coup d'etat no okum kofu bebre so he is a murderer enya fi wewu ene yebeka ne chinsem se de no ye ni papa tinsem ahodo Blakk Rasta kan enti yebeko Blakk Rasta video no so but ye di kan mumu yentie asema esi wo parliament a akofa sansem we edi aba no
Daughter of murderer, sit down. Daughter of murderer, sit down.
It's me.
That's evidence. Also, Papa Kunipa.
Obviously, there will come a time that a statement will be made in honor of the hard work of former President Nkrumah.
Enti ebusuafo sansem we ena ye MP sa omo eye tese do kuma na fa no ba akoko kan ya ende abedija wo my Ghana has ya ne nkofo se o eni kwaso kasa adem no ena we die eni kwase ka na mom ne ye yure fi se ebre bi atwem ukopia mo parliament wona eye ndisi fo dentam no mo no ye dom kuma omo so ekofa eye praga bebre de baaye a na o matwa so brody video a tese no mpeso mo kire hina ne se eye Honorable eye Alasan Lydia ono na nka ne bi no oye MP4 ayewa so West we gone and dey minimo kase die John Dimelo ababetu no ono ni kru na ewu ye eno baaye na eja obefa sa Citi no ndisi fo ka kire ne se oye kunafo bi atese ne moja won ho po a wekum nipa kunafo wekum obi kuno ni a wekum ebi ti don peso mo nyina ne se wekum ne kunu eno oye eye MP ono so the same parliament won see ya the same parliament won see ya eno na Blakk Rasta ekirem o se munja hypocrite no munja hypocrite Ghana for munja hypocrite no na de sema eye dom kuma ni okokan ye eye asem na ho asem eye asem na ho twene nso so ni da ho aye monche mu ye bo mfifo enimu no konku na Rawlings na wenya ne baby ko no tese Blakk Rasta ekirem a no oye murderer nkasa wo kum nipa bebre oso oye chioba to ho ebo na him papa ni na Rawlings time ene tese Blakk Rasta kan nyina la to se munja sa hypocrite no munja sa ya atwem no Ghana fo munja sa ya atwem na mo ye ya atwem fododo mo ye nya atwem dodo ndisi fu ye bi de mo anka ho hwe na mmom asem da ho eda ho ampa se Rawlings kum obi no we kum gofo no on empese defend munja sa ya atwem sem no mo de muntie Blakk Rasta.
My brother, my sister, the person who called Zanetor the daughter of a murderer, was he right or wrong? My My brother, my sister, in the days of Rawlings, we suffered terror. Those of you who were not yet born in 1979, we saw horror in this country. People were abducted and killed summarily. We saw judges abducted and set ablaze. My brother, my sister, the mystery of which, my brother, my sister, is still pending in the clouds. Rawlings denied involvement, yet it happened in his regime. In the regime of Rawlings, we saw women in Kajetia market stripped naked and whipped in their vaginas. We saw people abducted and taken to the Gonda barracks and some other such barracks and shaved with blunt instruments and blades. We saw, my brother, my sister, people who were carried away and beaten, most of whom we were told were dead, and carried all the way to the morgue at 37. One of them finally survived. He went on to move into exile and later came back into this country to become a minister of energy. Do we all remember this person? It was all in the days of Rawlings. Can we run away from the heinous crimes of Rawlings in his regime from 1979? The several murders and bloodshed. And even at the time, Ghanaians were asking Rawlings to let more blood flow. How do you let blood flow when you don't murder people? Rawlings was a murderer. It's the truth. What are you running away from? So when people die, when murderers die, they all of a sudden become saints? Is that what you are saying? Because we live in a country where Atayi all of a sudden will become Saint Atayi because he's dead. Say no bad thing about the dead. That is your motto. Until we start to shame the dead, like they did in Belgium when Leopold II died and they threw his dead body right in the middle of the street for people to hoot at and spit at. My brother, my sister, crime and foolishness will never ever stop in this country. Rawlings was a murderer, my brother. When the elections came, listen attentively, and listen, people were killed in the reign of Nana Akufo-Addo. What did we say? That Nana Akufo-Addo murdered some people during the elections. Mahama says when he comes into power, he would institute an investigation into it, and he started already. My brother, my sister, who do we say killed the people? They said Nana Akufo-Addo did because it was his regime. Rawlings was a soldier who went into a bloody coup d'etat. Bloody coup d'etat. Shot and killed many in order to gain power. Should we give him a bouquet of flowers for the coup d'etat that saw the lives of many go down the drain? Was he a saint? Was Rawlings a prophet? Have we so soon forgotten our history? The bloodiest coup d'etat that ever happened in this nation was instituted by Rawlings. He killed many in order to become leader of this nation. Is that not a murderer? So I am wondering why there's so much noise. And the coward MP who also mentioned it and cannot own up and come out and say, hey, I said it, and these are my reasons for saying that. That is the most cowardly, more cowardly than Baumia. If I had the opportunity to stand before these chiefs, I will honorably ask them to tell me how you would define or call a man who murdered many in order to become leader. In whose regime innocent judges were carried out, including a woman, killed and set ablaze at Bondazi. Why can't we speak the truth anymore? What is wrong with us? Zanetor is the daughter of a murderer. That is correct. But does that make her a murderess? No. She cannot inherit the crimes of her father. Do we understand that? But that does not mean she is not a daughter of a murderer. She is. Let us call a spade a spade. Should we call Zanetor the daughter of a pastor or the daughter of a reverend or the daughter of a saint. No, we saw the bloodiest violence in this country in the reign of Rawlings. Many people went down the drain. In my days as a little boy, anytime Rawlings' name was mentioned, we all ran under the bed. I was only 5 at the time Rawlings took over power in 1979. My brother, my sister, we have seen so much bloodshed in this country, all in the days of Rawlings. And today, if his children are being described as the children of a murderer, and we are crying, Anglo chiefs are all coming out, they want to know that these are disparaging remarks. What is disparaging about a murderer whose children are called the daughters and sons of murderers? Do you think that they would ever call that the daughter or the sons of Kwame Nkrumah, sons and a daughter of murderer, a murderer? Will they ever say that? No, because Nkrumah murdered nobody. In the days of Kwame Nkrumah, there was nothing like capital punishment ever endorsed by Kwame Nkrumah. They rather attempted to kill him several times. But even with that, he was still very tactful and level-headed. He never ordered the pulling of a trigger. In the days of Rawlings, the gun was the master. Soldiers were gods and demigods. When we saw soldiers on the streets, we ran. Some of you are so young, you do not understand what it was in 1979 and all the way after 79. We saw blood. I saw blood. I saw people shaved and beaten to pulp. You dared not say anything against Rawlings. Yes, thankfully, Rawlings also paved the way for democracy. But that does not erase the fact that he was a murderer. I leave it here.